A couple days in the life of preparing to sell cottage foods at the local market. It was pretty snowy this day. It was the first day we actually had some real snow. Well, actually, I don't know if it was the first day, but we've had a really wonky winter, so I can tell you that much. Anywho, I'm Lyric Watson, and I started a cottage foods business when we were really low down in a slump financially during this, well, exceptionally ugly economic time for most of us. The business has been fairly consistent and it is growing at a steady pace, which for that I am thankful, because if we just came out the gate with a booming business, I would honestly have no idea what to do with myself because it's really just me with minor help from my 3-year-old daughter. Obviously, that explains itself. And my husband works full time, so he's only able to help us so much, but he does do what he can in terms of helping me set up for the market and things like that. Moving along, let's get into this video. There's not a whole lot to explain. I started out making banana bread and some of my sourdough. The banana bread experience was, well, just that, an experience. I thought I had enough bananas. Lo and behold, to find out I read the recipe wrong. I indeed did not have enough bananas. Thus having to do the old stick it in the oven and ripen it trick, which doesn't actually produce the same quality banana bread because it doesn't have as much sweetness to a naturally ripened banana. It also ultimately slightly varies the texture, but it's still good either way. The next little mishap I had was I decided I was going to make a strawberry rhubarb pie. Joke was on me because rhubarb is seasonal, meaning I couldn't find it anywhere, and it took me going to every single store in town until I found that out. Real good. I wound up just making a mixed berry pie instead, which turned out okay. For my sourdough loaves, I made my first petards because I was given these awesome little bannetons for the first time. I have not had them before. I posted a video on my page prior of me getting my first sourdough ear on TikTok, and that is actually correlated to this video because I made those loaves for this market. Getting back to the pie, I don't know why I spaced it, but I forgot to par bake the bottom crust. It turned out perfectly fine, thank goodness. But if you have the time and opportunity, do par bake. It makes sure that your bottom crust is indeed brown. Those are pretty much the only things I really wanted to note. And if you've made it this far into the video listening to me yammer on, then that means you really care about what we're doing and our story. So I want to touch on the fact that we have been rethinking our bakery options. I have been given a lot of advice from prior bakery owners and people I know in the industry that opening a full storefront bakery isn't necessarily the wisest thing in the world, especially not right now. Instead, we are looking into opening a micro bakery. This next year or two, we plan on buying property and we want to build our house on it, an ADU first while we build our actual living space, and we would just live in the ADU while we're building the larger house. But we also want to build a separate building that can house people, sort of like a restaurant, but it wouldn't have the kitchen in it. My husband has a plan to build me a 26 square foot kitchen. Believe it or not, that was his idea, not mine. He has a whole layout plan for that. We would also fill parts of it with industrial kitchen appliances to accommodate for having the micro bakery. So the plan would be I bake in our kitchen, which would be made to bake large amounts of food in, and then we would haul or trolley over the food to the separate building, which we would have, books, seating, music, tables, the whole jazz, so that people could sit down and enjoy and really kind of feel like they're in a little home away from home. I'm not saying we're completely closed off to having a storefront bakery someday. It's just right now our directional shift is towards the micro bakery, which also allows us to do other things that line up with our values and lifestyle. One pertinent component to that is that we are homeschooling our children. So it's going to be important to us to kind of gather our lives and what we're doing around that. I'm not saying we don't want to live our lives for ourselves. I clearly am, but our children do take precedent in a lot of ways. So we want to make sure they are getting the schooling that they need and the attention that they need from us as parents being involved. So having that full storefront bakery would definitely cause me to spread myself quite thin. We are going to continue to update you guys on our journey and our plans and how things are going, or if anything changes. We do plan to make another video going more into a deep dive about those specific endeavors that we want to travel on. Currently, we are just trying to keep our heads above water, and I am trying to rear this business. which is a ton of work. I do someday hope to have some other help. I'm not really sure how that help is going to look, but right now I am trying to build a website. I have multiple social media accounts going. I am baking all by myself. I am doing the dishes and cleaning up my mess all by myself. I'm handling the financial part of it. Well, my husband actually helps with that more than I do, but there's just a lot of things that go into this all together, and I hope someday to have more of a team. As they say, cliche as it might be, teamwork does make the dream work, and I would love to have that to help navigate these dreams. For now, we are just doing our best to enjoy what God has given us for today, and we will deal with what we have tomorrow when we get there. Thank you so much, you guys, for your support and tuning into our channel. It really means a lot to have community and support like this. It wouldn't be possible also without you guys, a major factor and a major cheerleader for me to keep going. I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend.